Keeping the viewer on the edge of their seats without the normal tropes of horror is no easy task. While there are plenty of classics to choose from, today I want to discuss 10 amazing thriller movies that you probably haven't seen, and are way more worth a watch than the world's first $80 million drunken colonoscopy, Madam Web. Subscribe, comment, all the fun stuff. Let's do it. Number 10 is We Need to Talk About Kevin. First off, yes, this stars Ezra Miller, who is, yes, butt cancer. But credit where credit is due, he's terrific in this, as is Tilda Swinton. I did a whole video on why this is the scariest movie for mothers, and I stand by that statement because as we see Kevin during his toddler years, childhood, and adolescence, it becomes increasingly clear that 1. He despises his mother, and 2. He doesn't have any reason to do so. It's like he was born bad, but also born specifically to make her miserable. And since most of the film is from her perspective, it is an intense, almost overwhelming onslaught of fear, fury, and guilt. The colors are vivid and meaningful, the music has an old-timey joy to it that makes scenes more unsettling, and the direction does a great job showing the similarities between these main characters. For not only does the film build to a disturbing climax, the stuff that makes the mother worry about whether this is all her fault ensures a constant line of unease that only ends at the credits. A brilliant and very underrated movie.
They're fat because they eat the wrong food. Too much of it and all the time.
You know, you can be kind of harsh sometimes.
You're on to talk.
Yeah, I am. Wonder where I got it.
Number 9 is Eye in the Sky. It's an intense thriller with a star-studded cast, including Helen Mirren, Aaron Paul, and the last performance by Alan Rickman, who, by the way, gives a very satisfying speech at the end. We watch the plot play out from multiple levels of this operation, including the people on the ground, the drone pilots, the officers calling the play, and the politicians debating the socio-political backlash. I like a movie that is procedural, meaning showing every step going on, especially when the steps are this interesting. This also means that every development, where a terrorist is located, a certain weapon showing its ugly face, changes the story in a big way and keeps us on our toes. Drone strikes are a controversial tactic, and I can't say whether or not the film supports them. In fact, if there's a theme to Eye in the Sky at all, it's decisiveness. Not disparaging debate or alternatives, but just don't be the person who delays and interrupts without offering anything else. The cuck from Game of Thrones does nothing but that, while also spending half the film on the toilet, most likely producing Disney's next remake. All that aside, it's a nail-biting experience with great acting at every level. Go see it. A lot of modern movies get compared to Hitchcock, but The Ghostwriter, that's with a T, not a cage, is one of the few that deserves it. When I watched it, I was struck with that rare but euphoric feeling of seeing art that is confident without being flashy. Everything from the dialogue to the cinematography to even the use of weather is eye-catching and impactful, but never overdone or distracting. Every scene moves the plot forward, and it's fascinating watching this everyman tumble deeper into conspiracy and danger. All the performances are fantastic, and it's quite something to see the normally genteel Olivia Williams play a bitchy battle axe like this. It also sports one of my all-time favorite endings, and the lead up to it is incredible. A note being passed through a wine glass is such a sexy shot. I don't want to say much more other than that it's beautifully made and tense as hell. Next is 2011's Contagion. Basically, it's COVID before COVID. No, really, Contagion predicted so much of COVID, it's almost frightening. Not just the worldwide response and the death tolls, but the bureaucratic resistance to causing a panic, the conspiracy theories, and the hucksters pushing untested and ineffective drugs. Smart decisions spackle this film. The story starts on day 2 of the virus outbreak, which immediately builds a sense of mystery by having that question unanswered until the very end. When characters touch doorknobs or railings, the camera will linger for a little longer than usual, so you have that extra time to think of the virus spreading. Each time we're introduced to a city, the film also posts the current population, which is a disturbing view into the potential carriers and deaths. And while there is enough drama to pull you emotionally to certain characters, Contagion always keeps its eye on the virus. And unlike other disease movies that are more boring than a speech by a salutatorian, Contagion is only 106 minutes, and it flies by. It's engaging from the onset, and the ending is a slick, full-circle moment. Awesome movie. I'm getting a tad sick, just a tad, of uneventful snoozers that ride on nothing but mood. And oftentimes that mood is weaker than In-N-Out's attempts in covering up their burger's bland taste with radioactive Thousand Island dressing.
My eyes, the goggles do nothing.
The Stranger not only is an evocative account of a real and pretty wild undercover operation, but it's a great example of establishing mood in creative ways. The music is heavy, the cinematography is ominous, and the protagonist's exercises to help him through trauma feels like the film itself is lulling you into a trance. The big standout is the sound design, and I am gobsmacked that it wasn't submitted to the Academy, because sweet basket of Old Bay fries, this is a masterful use of sound. The acting is exceptional, especially from our mysterious antagonist. There's a sequence where we are given a timeline of a certain crime, and it's a well-edited and very entertaining way to catch us up on the case. The Stranger resonated with me so strongly that I watched it a second time the next day, and man, is it even better on a rewatch because of all those clues you missed the first time. If you like a bit of atmosphere with your crime thriller, give this one a go. Okay, here are 3 reasons to watch Side Effects. Number 1, Rooney Mara excels at playing a wide range of emotions, and her portrayal of severe depression feels real and researched. Number 2, rather than using the pharmaceutical industry as a backdrop, Side Effects really digs deep into how that industry can birth manipulative and power-hungry people. It's like if the Roman god Bacchus were a CEO. Although, honestly, I prefer him to most CEOs anyway. And number 3, the plot twists are fun, and culminate in a triumphant takedown of a villain that'll have you smiling more than an NFL ref when that other check comes in. Next is Failsafe, which can best be described as Dr. Strangelove if it wasn't a comedy. It's got all the ingredients of a great thriller. Superb performances, stark, almost menacing cinematography, and a plot that keeps you on edge from start to finish. Yet what surprised me most was how modern the film felt. The dream sequence is bizarre, the ending and how it's edited is ahead of its time, and that seduction attempt with the handkerchief is just, I mean, damn. Another nice touch, and this is something both older and modern films can struggle with, is having an actor convincingly play a US president. And I think Henry Fonda in Failsafe perfected this. That sense of authority that is both confident and casual. He's a boss. I have to emphasize just how intense this viewing is. If you aren't interested in discussions of war and Armageddon, this is not for you. But I was immediately hooked. And Failsafe never once neglects the drama that comes with tough decisions in a horrifying scenario. A gorgeously shot, intelligent film that needs more love.
I think he believes this is an accident. But we must convince him and his chief advisors that it is. I therefore order every American to cooperate fully with Soviet officers in shooting down our invading planes.
Number 3 is Good Time. Easily the fastest and probably most nerve-wracking on this list, Good Time has this pulsating energy that never lets up. The electronic music, the editing, and the plot itself, which is like a rescue mission mixed with a heist. A sequence where a new character breathlessly retells the last 24 hours is vibrant, fast-paced, and gloriously entertaining. Robert Pattinson gave the best performance that year. He fully embodies this charismatic, manipulative, opportunistic sociopath. It is beyond captivating to watch not just the actions he takes, but all those gears turning when he's formulating a plan. That's really the movie. A rushed plan, tense execution. Rinse, repeat, and watch the sweat pour. Just watch the first 10 minutes. You won't be sorry. And number 2 is Blood Simple. It's the first full-length feature by the Coen brothers, and it's the closest to a horror movie they ever made. There is something that needs to be mentioned. About halfway through the film, a man disposes of a body, and it is one of the most unsettling sequences in any thriller, and does an exceptional job showing how simplicity, even sparseness, can be so effective. It's all about patience, the length of shot, the insistence on us seeing every minute step of the process, and of course the lack of music. And it's such a long scene, and the more it goes on, the more nervous you get, and the more you realize that not only is someone really going through with a crime, but that we're gonna have to watch it play out. Elsewhere, this is a great thriller. The characters are memorable, you can't predict the story, and there's always this sense of foreboding in every scene. Even this early on, those Coen brothers' trademarks are here. The balance of tone, the beautiful cinematography in the wide-angle lens, the focus on setting as its own character, and none of it feels sloppy or untested. Man, way to hit the ground sprinting, Coen brothers. Jesus Christ. I've mentioned before how the horror pseudo-documentary Lake Mungo could easily pass as a real documentary. My number one pick for today, The Imposter, is a documentary that could function perfectly as fiction. For lack of a better word, it is very cinematic. The Imposter treats information with an almost David Fincher level of care. Instead of dull, poorly acted reenactments, we have stylish ones that never overstay their welcome. The interview footage, as wonderfully explained by the Every Frame a Painting video, is shot specifically to trick you into empathizing with the villain. The decisions on sound and editing are clever. The true story is crazy, the kind that will have you saying, "No way," over and over again. This is a tragic tale, but also a creepy one. The seedy music and visuals combined with the story itself make you feel like you're falling into some gnarled, dark sort of pit. Knowing the journey will only get more disturbing, yet you're stuck with it. My god, is this engaging, and my god, what a villain. This isn't just a great documentary, but one of my favorite films of all time. See this one immediately.
He had beautiful blonde hair. Kind of looked like a little pixie.
He had blonde hair, blue eyes, and a bit of a gap between his teeth when he smiled. You could see it.
So, what underrated thrillers did I miss? Check out my playlist on horror movies and other top 10 lists I've made, comment below, and toss me a subscribe. I really appreciate it. As always, thanks for watching.